Welcome in everybody to another video. In this video we're discussing something that's been very interesting recently. I've been getting so many comments. I'm telling you, probably 100 plus comments of trade for Trent Williams. Okay, it's been absolutely crazy, but since that's been happening, I thought we'd talk about it a little bit. So let's get right into the video. First thing I would like to say is that I'm not saying the Lions should trade for Trent Williams, or necessarily I'm not saying that I don't think Taylor Decker can step up, but instead I'm really diving into why you guys think that trading for Trent Williams is a good idea and why the Lions can actually pull this off, okay? So, trade for Trent, okay? Hashtag trade for Trent. We can start that little thing if you guys want to. But anyways, Trent Williams is a guy that plays for the Washington Redskins, as most of you guys know, as a tackle. And the Lions are definitely struggling at that tackle position, at least from what we saw from week 1. Now, I am under the belief that for week 2 and future weeks, the Lions will be fine at tackle position. I think they'll figure it out, and I think it'll be okay. I think Taylor Decker just had a bad week. He's young, he'll be fine. Now, Rick Wagner, they both struggled, right? Both tackles struggled. Taylor Decker and Rick Wagner struggled. Rick Wagner, I think he'll be fine as well. But, you know, there is that thought that maybe we should go get another tackle, help out Matthew Stafford, because we have shown that we have weapons. We have weapons to move the ball down the field. T. Jackson, the great wide receivers, the running backs, we can move the ball down the field. Matthew Stafford was great, but that tackle position could be our Achilles heel, I guess you could say, offensively. So, what is the fix there? And I know a lot of you guys want to say it should be Trent Williams, okay? Now, what would Trent Williams do for the Detroit Lions? Before we get into that, let's look at how our tackles performed in week 1, okay? Taylor Decker gave up 7 pressures, 4 penalties, and 2 sacks, and one of those was a fumble. And Rick Wagner also gave up 7 pressures. Now, Joe Dahl actually played as the best offensive lineman in that game. Joe Dahl, I told y'all, I'm not trying to say nothing, but I did tell you guys, Joe Dahl can do it all, and he did ball out. Now, the tackle position struggle, like I said, I think they will bounce back and they'll be okay. But in this video, I'm trying to really reason with you guys, try to figure out why this would make sense for the Lions, okay? Right now, Trent Williams from the Washington Redskins is holding out for a contract extension. So that automatically gives the Lions a reason to be interested. If someone is holding out for a contract extension, then they are also looking for maybe a trade out of it, okay? He is a 31-year-old offensive tackle, so he's not young, but I have heard that he's in the best shape of his life. Multiple reports have said he's in the best shape of his life. He's in better shape than Rick Wagner by far, and he's also better than Taylor Decker when he's healthy, which they think he is healthy. So overall, they're saying that he's still in good shape for being a 31-year-old tackle. Now, he is 31 years old, so it means a couple years down the line, maybe you'll have to look somewhere else. But for a 1-year fix, this could make sense, right? Because you got to think, if you're in win now mode, if you spent all this money to win now, wouldn't you want to protect your quarterback? I mean, even if it means 1 year, wouldn't you want to overpay for that tackle? We have the money to do it. Let's trade and go get one. So that would be the first reason. Next, this would also help the Washington Redskins in a way if they got Taylor Decker return. Okay, now we're not Rick Wagner, but if they got Taylor Decker and maybe even a pick, or just Taylor Decker, probably a pick too, this would help them out because the Washington Redskins are basically in a rebuilding phase. I mean, basically, if you're a Redskins fan or not, you can let me know in the comments below. That's fine. They may not be, but I kind of look at them like maybe they could rather take the young talent, right, and try to groom those guys, because Taylor Decker's a lot younger than Trent Williams, so maybe they'll bring him in, maybe they'll groom him, make him better for future years, and the Lions, meanwhile, will take the talent now and try to win now. Maybe that's just what each franchise is in their situation currently. Could benefit the Washington Redskins, and that could make sense for them wanting to agree to a trade like that. Also, Trent Williams is having a lot of beef with his teammates recently. Apparently, Trent Williams said he will not go to practice if Adrian Peterson is there. Like, I have no idea what's going on, okay? It's just a complete mess there with Trent Williams and the Washington Redskins. All signs point to getting him out of there would make the most sense. And again, for the Washington Redskins, it would probably be a good return to bring in a younger tackle. They could also bring in Rick Wagner, okay? Now, he's very similar in age. This guy that we signed up free agency from the Ravens, now he's with the Lions, very similar in age, another veteran. So if the Washington Redskins wanted to stay with a veteran, but instead of keeping the drama around with this man and Trent Williams and him not wanting to play for Adrian Peterson and him holding out, then Rick Wagner could make sense because you'll probably get a nice pick in return, like a 3rd round pick. Then they're kind of building for the future, right, with that pick, and they're also getting a veteran back at the tackle position. Now, is he as good as Trent Williams? Maybe not, but you're still getting a very similar player back for the Washington Redskins and a draft pick. If the Detroit Lions trade Taylor Decker, I think it's very simple. Trent Williams would be our left tackle, right? And the reason you would have him at left tackle is for that blind side. We would be able to rely on him with the blind side. That's where Stafford is so vulnerable. That's why it's called a blind side, right? I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but that'd be the best for him. Now, right tackle's great now, but Stafford can see where that's coming. But if he's at the left tackle, that helps Stafford out because he can't see that part of, the field. He would most likely be the left tackle. But say you brought in say you trade away Rick Wagner. Okay, now what do you do with Taylor Decker because he's still your left tackle? You could move him to right tackle, move Trent Williams to left tackle because you would rather have him on the blind side. Then you can see where the pressure is coming from if you have Taylor Decker on the right side. For Matthew Stafford, that'd be huge because he'll see, okay, it's broke down. I got to back up, rely more on Trent Williams. If, I have to step up, whatever happens there, however that reacts to it. And then you can put a tight end or your running back can automatically go out there, and you're more reliable than on having one tackle that you can really rely on in Trent Williams than maybe having two guys that you haven't been able to rely on. Now, some of you guys want to say that these guys have never been that good. I think they've been solid, and I think they will be fine. I don't see this move happening. I don't think the Lions will do it. I don't think they will do it. I'm not saying it's a bad move. I just don't think the Lions will make this move. Now, I agree. I understand where you guys are coming from when you say you want this to happen. I agree with the people that say they don't want it to happen. There's very good arguments for each side. One thing I want to see happen, though, is to go get some depth offensive tackles. That would be nice because we really only have one technical backup offensive tackle, and that is Terrell Crosby. It would be nice to have another backup offensive tackle just for some depth because things will happen. It'd be nice to have another option to go to. Maybe even a young guy or a veteran. It really doesn't matter at this point. But those will be really your two options, okay? For the Lions, I can see both sides of the argument. That's really why they're looking into Trent Williams. That's why this came up because the whole contract held out, because the whole beef right there with Adrian Peterson, him not willing to practice. Maybe for like a very short deal, give him a lot of money, maybe even, because you're going to really have to overpay. If you're not going to give him a big contract, you're going to have to overpay for 1 year. But that could make sense, right? Because the Lions are in top 10 in salary cap remaining. So this could make sense for the Lions. We're trying to win now. You bring him in, you overpay for him, you give away a pick, but you also have a tackle that you can really rely on. Again, I believe Taylor Decker will be fine. I believe Rick Wagner will be fine. It was a bad week 1. But I can understand both sides of the argument. So what I want you guys to do is go down in the comments and say, yes, trade for Williams, or no, don't trade for Williams, okay? Very simple like that. Anyways, you guys have any other thoughts, let me know in the comments below. And also, stay tuned because I may be going to the Chargers game this weekend, okay? Thank you, Prof, for watching, and I'm out.